welcome all. Welcome to This is Kyle. This is your host and your homeboy, Kyle. Checking in one time for the one time. We're just doing like a little after party to the show. Over there at Dagger Squad University. Shout out to brother Garfield. He's been such an amazing host over there to allow me to kind of piggyback off his shows. So shout out to that brother, man. And go check out his book, The Misconceptions and Misinformation of the Black Hebrew Israelites. Y'all can purchase that book on Amazon. The book went an amazing, I think like 6 or 7 weeks. The number one new release book, man. So gotta give a brother a shout out for that. You know what I'm saying? If y'all fuck with Dagger Squad, y'all already know the book is amazing. If you don't know about it, go check it out on Amazon. I believe it's on sale on multiple platforms as well. So go check it out and support that brother. He's doing his thing, man. But today we got kind of an edgy topic, and I know some of y'all may or may not be fully into it. You may or may not, want to dive into this subject, but at this point, it is what it is, and we going live. We're gonna go ahead and talk about it. So what I'm gonna do is, first and foremost, I'm gonna put the link in the chat for anybody who wants to come in and dive on the subject. Is gonna be an open platform, so if y'all want to come in and speak your piece, definitely come on in. What's up, sis? I see you in the chat. Thanks for joining in. Trying to get a couple more people in here. So what we're going to do first is to watch a little video about the Gods of the Gaps, because a lot of people don't know what Gods of the Gaps is. Just to give you an intro, God of the Gaps is a place where we play. Well, it is a place of assertion. From when we don't know something, we place a higher power there because we can't figure that part of life out yet. And if you've noticed, and anybody has noticed, that when we look at the gods in antiquity, they had multiple gods. If you look at, and this may sound harsh, but the more gods a civilization has, the more ignorant that civilization is. And so these gods kind of get reduced over time because we start to learn about our environment. We learn what works, what doesn't work. We learn what is not. And then so those gods don't have a place anymore. And well, I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna play the video. Fair use. Playing the video because we're having a live discussion about it. So we're gonna rock this out after the video. Then we'll go ahead and dive into the God of Gaps. And thank you, Anush.
It seems a common reply to the arguments from natural theology is to cry God of the Gaps. In my experience, a skeptic of theism will often use this as a last resort argument. The argument tends to go like, all you have done is found something not explained by science and filled it with God. It is not a real explanation, and one day science will account for this without God, like we have done in the past with several things like lightning and earthquakes. Ancient people used to think these things were caused by gods, and present-day arguments for God's existence are exactly the same. The problem with this line of reasoning is that it's an abuse of how the actual fallacy was supposed to be used, and it is based on a misunderstanding of history. First, the God of the Gaps fallacy was actually created by a Christian evangelist named Henry Drummond, and it was never meant to apply to metaphysical theories. The phrase was meant to be used when one inserts divine intervention into a biological process or a physical process. For example, we can't explain how elephants evolved from primitive mammals, therefore it was miraculous. We can't explain the order of certain orbital levels of electrons, therefore it is run by divine intervention. We can't explain how fish evolved into tetrapods, therefore divine intervention happened. However, Drummond encouraged his fellow Christians to accept all of nature as the product of God's work. In other words, the intricacies of natural processes, still unanswered by science, don't need divine intervention inserted into them. But all of nature itself still implies the existence of a creator who set natural processes into motion. Inserting God into a natural process is not how most arguments for God's existence function. See, arguments for God's existence are philosophical in nature. We take scientific data and infer a philosophical or metaphysical theory that we believe best fits with the data. For example, materialism is a metaphysical theory of reality not a scientific theory. Materialism is the idea all that exists is matter, and the complex arrangements of matter. This cannot be proven by science, only inferred philosophically. Now, if a materialist was to argue that from something we observe in science was evidence in favor of materialism, it would be absurd for me to reply that they are just trying to explain that with the materialism of the gaps. And that is how ridiculous it sounds when a non-theist attempts to argue a God of the gaps in response to the arguments from natural theology or the metaphysical theory of theism. Theists are not actually arguing from a gap in a natural process, but arguing for a metaphysical theory of reality, which attempts to explain why there are natural processes, or what is the best way to explain reality. Metaphysical theories attempt to explain all of reality and what reality is. When a theist argues God exists from arguments used in natural theology, one is not arguing from a gap in our knowledge with regards to how natural processes work, but arguing a whole scientific process or certain data infers a theistic worldview. That is by definition not arguing from a gap, but arguing our full understanding of science infers a theistic worldview. For example, cosmological arguments do not argue for a gap in the evolution of the universe, but they argue the universe as a whole has a necessary and sentient cause. Teleological arguments do not argue from gaps within physical processes, but argues the fine-tuning of the universe as a whole leads to design. Saying these and other similar arguments or arguing from gaps would be as absurd as saying the theory of gravity is a gap filler until we find a better explanation. The theory of gravity, which almost everyone accepts, is the best way to explain certain observable phenomena. We have observed data in physical reality and came up with a theory of gravity to best explain this data. It would be absurd for someone, like a flat earther, to say gravity is just a gap filler, and that we can't explain why objects fall to the earth, so we have just inserted our made-up theory of gravity into this process. A logical person would just respond that gravity is simply the best explanation of observable data. If one day we find a better explanation, then it will replace gravity, but currently it is not just a gap filler. And when theists argue that all of reality is best explained by theism, we are not arguing from a gap in our knowledge with regards to physical or biological processes. We are arguing like one argues from the evidence for the theory of gravity. Also, we should note science is not burying theism. The best arguments for God's existence have come about from modern advancements in science from within the past 100 years. So the current arguments for God's existence don't compare to ancient beliefs in natural gods that cause lightning or earthquakes. The more science reveals, the more evidence we have for God's existence, as I've argued in past videos. When non-theists try to use the God of the gaps argument in response to natural theology, in reality, they only shoot themselves in the foot. First, saying evidence which implies theism will be overturned by people in the future is nothing more than arguing a future humans of the gaps argument. One is essentially saying, I don't know the answer to this, but I know more intelligent people in the future will have an answer, and I know it will fit my worldview of non-theism. Instead of offering a better explanation of the data to counter theism, one has filled a gap in their worldview with the unknown knowledge of future humans. You don't know what the future will bring, so you just can't assume more intelligent individuals in the future will find an explanation that is better than a theistic one. This is just an attempt to ignore a clear problem for a non-theistic worldview and hoping and believing it will one day go away. One does not really provide an answer, but just assumes their worldview is already correct on blind faith and places their faith in future humans to confirm what they want to be true. Second, notice what they have admitted without realizing it. They have not explained how materialism or other non-theistic views can account for these pieces of data, but admitted these are gaps in the materialist or naturalistic view of reality. Non-theistic views cannot fully explain the data the theists have offered, and they only hope it will be explained in the future. So in saying these arguments are God of the gaps arguments, they simply assume the worldview and inadvertently admit these are gaps in their philosophical view of reality that their non-theistic theory of reality cannot account for. Thus, in reality, They admit theism is the better explanation of reality if they cannot account for this data through a materialistic worldview, or offer a better and more parsimonious explanation. But when a non-theist cries God of the gaps, they are not really addressing any argument for God's existence, but admitting to us all, they are just assuming their worldview that God doesn't exist, and any evidence for God cannot possibly mean that God exists. So it must just be a gap until someone comes along and solves this issue for their worldview. All they do is admit their view of reality cannot explain as much as theism can, and there are clear gaps they cannot account for within their framework. So in reality, crying God of the gaps in response to natural theology only creates more problems for the non-theist than it solves.
All right, all right, all right. I know y'all. I know that was painful because I know a lot of y'all are atheists on here that tune in and that come on my channel or whatever. The reason why I played that is because that is what we're up against. This. They what's trying to happen. What's trying to go down is people who practice this theology. They're trying to look into science and find the spaces where science does not speak emphatically. So if science changes, if we get more information and something becomes more defined, they're saying that is where God resides in the future. I'm gonna open this up and I'm gonna let y'all all speak on this, but that video kind of stood out to me because it was like it seems as if they was thinking with the atheist mind and trying to make a theist reality. And I just want to see what y'all think about that, because like I play both sides of it. I like to play both sides of the fence, and that's how I get my understanding. And you on mute, bro.
Yeah.
Now I was muted on purpose.
Unmute yourself, King.
I was muted on purpose just so I could say.
You gotta unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
You muted, bro.
I'm muted right now.
No, I hear you.
Is anybody talking?
Nah, I can hear him.
Yeah, we
Kyle, can you hear us?
Hold on, maybe it's just me. If y'all can hear each other, if y'all can hear Sebastian in the chat, press 1.
Yeah, they can hear me.
I can hear him at least.
Yeah, I hear him. I hear him also.
Oh well, he's gone now. Well, I want to just say that video was trash. It was trash from the very inception of it. That whole argument was an argument from the gaps, and the gap that was made was the gap between evidence and argument. There is a difference between an evidence and an argument. All right, can y'all hear me? Y'all still hear me?
Yeah, I'm with you. I hear you.
Yeah.
All right. So an evidence is a positive assertion of a thing, something that is evident of or positively indicative of an outcome. An argument can work either way. It doesn't have to be positively indicative. It can say, oh, there is space for, and every argument for God is looking for the space for God. There is not a single argument for God that is positively indicative of a God. Right? Every argument for God is, I don't know how this happened, thus God.
Yep.
I'm going to assert God. But without any, because if you go to the teleological argument and they say, what the universe is so fine-tuned, there must be a creator. That's not what that means. You still have no positive evidence of a creator. You're just saying that there's space for a creator there. You still have nothing that positively indicates a creator, right? The same thing with the, what's the other argument that he gave? The ontological argument. The universe has a cause because the universe came to exist. Thus, it must be God. The ontological argument does not get you to a God. The teleological argument does not get you to a God. It gets you to a cause and nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, the video.
Let me say this, right? What I got from that whole video and a lot of these arguments from these theists are that
Testing.
that God becomes the answer to their unanswered. You know, when they don't, like you said, when they don't have an answer and they can't explain something, rather than just leave it as we don't know, and we're still, you know, we are still investigating. You know what I mean? As far as science is concerned, we don't know the answer to this. Therefore, like you said, did they insert God? Right? But before you can even insert God, you first have to demonstrate that there is a God to insert. You can't just insert. It's like we just inserted. Well, you know, the butler did it. How do you know the butler did it? Well, who else could it have been? You don't get to do that. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to do that. You know, and that's what I got from that whole video, man. Anybody there?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was wild. I think I came in the middle of it. So at first, when I was listening, I thought it was somebody trying to explain God of the gaps from like an atheistic like worldview. So at first I was kind of lost because I'm like, what the hell? It seemed like he it sounded like he atheist, but now he's speaking from a theist point of view. But that man, the video was crazy. I think it was a
Attempt.
terrible attempt to try and make the whole God of the gaps thing into a fallacy. You know.
Listen, you get an E for effort.
Yeah. Did he ever explain what the hell natural theology was?
No.
I don't think I heard him.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
So
Yeah.
is natural theology, is that like the intelligent design shit then?
I guess that's what he sounded like. That's kind of, I guess, what he's getting into. But
That's what it sounded like, right?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. But intelligent design is not science. That was struck down in Kitzmiller versus Dover by a Christian judge. It's not science. It's not science. These are arguments to say, well, we don't. It's literally an argument from the gaps. This is an argument from the gaps. And
Hey,
it's
Kai,
really. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was gonna say I don't know if Kyle hear us or not, but we hear you typing super hard, dog. I don't know if you hear us. I know you say you can't text.
Testing.
Oh no,
We hear you.
You typing your ass off too.
Go ahead, my bad, Sebastian.
Bro, I got mad as he typing so hard.
I'm trying to tell you, I heard every letter.
But what I'm saying is that, coming from this gap type argument where it's okay to have a placeholder. It's like, I'm okay if they just said, okay, we don't know the answer to that, thus God. What I'm not okay with is saying we do know the answer to that. No, it's God. Right? Like, if you said, well, I don't know what started the Big Bang, I want to say God did that. Okay. But we know it was a Big Bang. I don't, if you say, I don't know how life came from non-life, I want to say God did that. Okay. But these are the chemicals that happen. Right? I don't know. If you put God in a deistic kind of like the start of all things kind of world, I think that's fine. That's fine. It's when you try to make God the answer to things that we have answers to that it really gets dangerous.
But I think the problem also with the argument of intelligent design and dealing with one omnipotent deity is, which one is it, right? Because we're in the West, we're going to assume that it's the Jewish one, but it's like which one is supposed to be responsible for the universe? That's the type of way I think. That's the type of things I think about.
Well, see, the reason I give it that more, like, I don't care what you call it at that point, right? Because the problem, once you name one, then you're implying that God answers something in this reality. That's why I say as long as you leave them out there, it could literally be every God in the universe could have been responsible for the Big Bang. Great. Leave them out there until we figure out that something, unless we figure out something else started the Big Bang. Leave them there. It's when you start to assert that God is somehow capable of doing something in this reality that I run into a problem. Again, it's when you take the answers that we do have and try to fit your God into those. Now, as long as you're dealing with the answers that we don't have, like how did the universe get started? We don't know. If you want to say JehovahZipCanoe.com/raw uptick Shannara, right? Cool, that's cool. It could be every God in the world out there. But it's when you start to assert God as the answer for what we do know that this gets dangerous.
Oh, and peace. I didn't want to see, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me out there again?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. I don't know what the hell is going on. I had to go out and come in a couple times, and I had to call tech support, but we back. And I'm ready to dive in. I don't know what the hell y'all talking about, so I'm gonna sit back my own chilling and figure it out, because I ain't gonna change the conversation. So I didn't want to test my hearing. Go ahead.
Well, we're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
We heard you doing a whole lot of typing.
Yeah, I was on with tech support. I was trying to figure it out.
It sounded angry.
Yeah.
Good. But basically what we're saying is, let me ask you, where'd you get that video from, bro?
I would just be searching online for videos, and I just wanted to, I want to understand different positions, because I believe that a person that holds a strong position should understand the position of the opposition. So I go out and research opposing thoughts, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that my thought is the best thought for me to have. You know what I'm saying? Like if I only tasted oranges all my life, and you got a peach, I ain't never had a peach, I might need to try that peach to see if it's good. You know what I'm saying? But if I know it's good, I can maybe add to my repertoire, or you know what I'm saying, eat some peach cobbler every once in a while. But if I ain't never had it, I'm limiting myself on my overall range, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's smart. I wish that more theists thought that way. Right, like that.
That's why they're theists,
huh?
But I said that's why they're theists, though, because they believe only.
But if you ever stop to ask yourself, why is that person an atheist? Like, if you ever just really thought of it, like, why does he think that? Right. But instead of asserting, he thinks that because, you get what I'm saying? And that's a huge difference, right? Oh, he just hurt. He don't want no God to tell him what to do, or he want to sin, or you get what I'm saying? He proud, or he is blah 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 blah. You get what I'm saying? But if you ever just stopped and thought, well, I wonder why they think that. How'd they come to that conclusion? You know, at least you'd have a. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think a lot of them don't even care. I mean, from my standpoint, when I was a Hebrew, or when I was a Rasta, when it came to the opposition information, I'm not gonna hold you. I was so deep entrenched into the shit. Sometimes I think if I even look at that, my life, you feel me? Because I dabbled into that. God ain't want me to dabble into that. So now some bad thing is gonna happen to me in my life. And I find that when I'm conversing with a lot of people, especially family members like that are Christians and stuff like that, when you start to talk about these different concepts, they don't even want to hear it, because off rip, it's wicked. So
yeah, and that's gonna be the difference in how you mentally evolve as well, because the more things that you know about, it gives you a better ability to make better decisions. You know what I'm saying? Because now you know more options, you know more variables. You know what I'm saying? You know what different possibilities are. You know what I'm saying? And probability, because you know which one is more likely to be true. You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of things that is dealt with in science may not be 100% true, but they are the most likely. They're more likely than anything else that we have. You know what I'm saying? Like there's things that are 99.5% or 97%. You know, they have 100%, well, 97% confidence in something, and just because we don't have that extra 2% of confidence, you look and compare that to the other variable, which may be 0 or 3%. I'm gonna go with the one that has the most confidence in it. The more science backs it. You know what I'm saying? Just because there's a theory and there's one part that someone can kind of tear apart, but it doesn't. But the remaining portion of that still holds true, and you have nothing to weigh against it. So we still go by that path because we deal with probability. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I think a lot of people go wrong when they deal with science, because they think that science is all 100% fact. Those theories aren't facts. The theories are made up with facts that compose those theories. A theory is just basically an envelope of which facts go into. You know what I'm saying? And so if you can take out one of them facts, or you can tear down one of those facts, it's still 1,000 more in there that you gotta worry about that also substantiate this position. And over here, it's just belief. I'm gonna go with the 99,999 facts, and the one thing you tore down doesn't matter to me because this still holds way more weight. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I personally, deal with life.
Yeah, if you notice, and I'm glad you said that. I said this earlier while you were typing. There's a difference between an evidence and an argument. What you'll notice is scientists come with evidence, theists come with arguments, right? And an evidence is positively indicative of a thing, right? So if I show you, here go the footprints, here go the fingerprints, here go the broken glass, here go the bullet, here go the gun, we know someone shot through the window. The fingerprint says that it was Kyle that did it, right? So I got positive evidence that's indicative of a thing. An argument says, oh, well, it's possible that a leprechaun did it, right? Even though they don't have any positive indicative evidence, it's like, oh, well, we don't know this piece, so we can put whatever we want to right there. That's the difference between evidence and an argument. You have not found a single theist who can present you evidence for God.
Yeah, and that's the main reason why I played that video, because what I noticed in that video is that he had a lot of theory-based rebuttals, but not one fact was ever presented for him to even. He came out with a whole position, a whole argument to saying, "Hey, this is why you guys are wrong," but you didn't provide any facts to substantiate why you say I'm wrong. You used the God of the Gap argument to substantiate why you're like, yeah, exactly. So you're pushing that argument twice.
Yeah. 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 That was incredible. That was incredible.
Yeah, that was a Mr. Jim Max's Bible. He did some backflips, some cartwheels. He did a tuck with that bitch too. That twist thing. He did a lot of shit in the air.
That's why I was lost. That's why I was lost at when he used it. When he doubled up.
Yeah.
He dropped it off and went back to go pick it back up. I was lost, threw me off.
Yeah, that's like you was like, man, hold on, this is above my pay grade. I don't think I
I was confused, bro. I'm trying to figure out, is he an atheist? Is he a theist? What he got going on?
Nah, the nigga is just crazy. He cut like that's what I'm saying. Like, and this is the mind of the people. This is how they process their natural world. They have to go to such extreme measures just for it to make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we notice, like Mr. Morpheus be on Sonetta destroying these dudes. Like, and it don't even, and no disrespect to Morpheus, the questions don't even be that deep. It's just that the question is that real. It's so real that they minds fucking. I hear them sometimes explode. I hear their mind. You know what I'm saying? I hear the smoke start, the sizzle, and boom, and then they blow up. And then
Kaya, if you heard on Sonetta, what was it, yesterday or day before yesterday? Apostle and Sonetta. Yo,
I turned that off, bro. I couldn't even make it.
I couldn't take it. I took like maybe 10, 15 minutes. I said, I can't do this, yo. I can't do this, man. But I said, this is sad. This is it's like, we laugh in one sense, but in the other sense, it's like, yo, this shit ain't really funny. This is serious.
That's what I think. Sometimes I be wondering to myself, and y'all might not see it from this point of view, but when I see this stuff, a lot of times when I'm watching Sonnet and I hear certain people speak, I think to myself, do they not realize that they're getting used for entertainment purposes? Because how they sound, it's like, I don't know, it'd be disrespectful. I guess they don't realize it because you not gonna make no fool of me like that. I'm trying to tell you, you not.
It'd be crazy, man. It's crazy.
What were they talking about yesterday? I missed it.
Sarnetta had a conversation. The whole show was with Apostle. Hold on, damn, fucking Reggie's calling me. Hold on.
Yeah. Apostle was basically trying to prove
You want food?
he was a Hebrew, that Jesus was black and Jesus existed, and like everything that you could possibly imagine that you can't prove, Apostle was trying to prove.
Sit down.
And he was getting these live questions that you could tell he was making up his answer on the spot. Like it's like, and it's nothing wrong with answering with answering the question. But what I'm saying is like you could tell he was literally going into a place in his mind and making it up. And that's a difference between me recalling something and you making some shit up. Like if I ask you or anybody on this chat, hey bro, like how do you describe evolution? You can tell me the systematic steps of evolution. You know what I'm saying? And it may be different from each and every one of us, but we will be on the same accord in some measures. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You may focus more on, you know what I'm saying, how they diverge to different subspecies or subclades or whatever, and some people may just jump around and say this turned into that and that turned into this, and these died, but we're gonna be on the same path at least.
Yeah.
He didn't have a path, bro. Like,
just making it up.
Matter of fact, I might pull it. Let me pull it up, man. I'm gonna go on mute. Let y'all talk. I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to me, man. It's really a sad case though, man, of where we are in 2021, where we as as Homo sapiens and shit, how we think, man. And it's just like shit is crazy to me. I just don't get it.
So do y'all think it's like, I don't know how old you guys are, but do y'all think it's like y'all generation? Like I'm in my 20s, so I'm a generation after. Because with us, I ain't gonna lie to you, you don't find that like the way you hear people think and come out on Sinetta and the conscious community. You talk to the everyday person in their 20s around my age group now. You got more theists. You got more atheists. You got more agnostics.
Right.
You don't hear the type of things that you hear on these platforms from older men and women. So what y'all think about that?
It's funny you should say that because I look at my generation, right? I'm 58, right? I'm 58, and I went through all the different schools of thought and shit, man, going all the way back from 1975. I think I started on my journey in 1975 from a 5%er to the Nation of Islam, from Nation of Islam to the Ansar Law community, from the Ansar Law community, you know what I mean, with Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, and I continued on my particular journey. You know what I'm saying? So I stayed growing. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. I stayed growing. And a lot of these guys, people my age, it's almost like, somebody get left back in school. You know how stupid it is right now for somebody to go to say you to go walk in class and you see a 60-year-old person taking a GED, right? You know what I'm saying? This nigga is 60 years old. Like, you taking a GED? Yeah. And the whole classroom is people who's like, 18, they dropped out of school, maybe 19, 20. And you looking around and you seeing motherfuckers in the classroom that's 65 years old. And you're going like, you're serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how crazy that is to me right now? Don't get me wrong. I get it. I understand people trying to, go back and further themselves. But you know what I mean? As far as the evolutionary scale, yo, dude, you 65 and you still in the 6th grade?
Sit down, Yair.
Yeah. Yo, I got a little clip. I just picked a random clip because the interview was it was so crazy that it don't even matter where I hit play at. It's all gonna be crazy.
I love this.
Exactly.
I love this.
Like no matter, like I literally just picked a random number, a random clip, so I don't know what they're talking about at all. Be honest with you, but we're trying to find out. Let's go ahead and dive into this, and we can break this down.
Yo, you can't miss. You can't miss no matter where you land.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and check this out, fella.
it says?
Can y'all hear it?
No, are you sharing the audio?
What's the name of the video?
Yeah, y'all can't hear?
Not really.
The video is
Take it down and make sure you're sharing the audio.
All right.
Yo,
You and your tech support today just ain't working right.
I don't know what's going on, man. It's now this shit just froze up on me.
It's bad. Let's see. You sharing your audio this time?
Not based on hypothesis. Y'all see Anusha comment in the chat?
with him. I mean, the damn thing is playing.
What the hell's going on?
When we try to share it?
Yeah, man, you try. Oh, maybe it's me, man. Maybe it's my computer.
Yeah, sometimes they happen. It might be the actual thing though. So this is Sinetta and Apostle, right?
Yeah, it was from
Peace
last
to
night.
that family. What's your name and where you?
I heard
Man,
it.
I
It just
started
ain't
off-
loading. I can hear it. It just ain't loading.
Yeah,
It's
it
buffering.
just ain't loud. I want to go to Sinetta. It was on Sinetta Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sinetta Studios. Okay, boom.
This will be the
Breaking
very
news.
last video he did.
All right, let me skip past that. And you was around 50 minutes in.
Yeah, about 50, 55. That's when his call started. And I just want you to understand what he said, though, Sebastian. I don't think you missing what Anusha said. Apostle said that science is based on a hypothesis. That's just weird.
That gotta be the funniest shit I heard all day.
This is amazing. Let me see if this is share. It ain't really that loud even when I'm trying to share it. So let me see if I can get it to share though. Chrome tab. We right here. Share audio. Share.
Okay, she said. Oh, Anusha said go to 1 hour and 33 minutes.
Okay, 1 hour 33 minutes. Let me get out there.
So bright that they had to turn from him.
Let me go 33 minutes. All right, right here.
And move the ad down too, though. That Roman ad.
I think science is trickery.
There you have it, family. There you have it, bro. Oh man.
I say, and look, I'm saying this. My sister talks science. She had a project. It's still up there in space. It's on the space shuttle. Something to do with plants and surviving in space. My sister did that years ago. She has dementia now. She had to retire about 5 years ago. She's only 71 years old. And she's a Christian and she's a scientist.
But guess what? Guess what science
always
have done? Science have been great for you, Apostle. Would you at least agree with that?
I don't science like
science have been the best thing that happened for you, Apostle. You're talking on the goddamn cell phone right now.
Facts.
You are using your computer right now.
Facts.
You got your TV screen in front of you right now.
Facts.
You know, you got your phone. You were able to get on the goddamn train. Hold on. You were able to get on the bus when it's time for you to ride. Like, what the hell is you talking about? Science been bullshit. What?
Let me share something with you, son.
Share something with me, brother. Share it with me, brother.
All right. My brother
she said
is
go
a
back
computer analyst technician.
Oh, yeah, one more thing.
Go
one
back
more
to
thing.
what?
And didn't you just take a DNA test?
Go back to what?
She said go back a few seconds. I guess you passed over the part where he said science is a hypothesis or whatever.
Let me start about right there. We'll go back to 127.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
I believe that.
All right. Peace and black power, family. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Chanetta, this is Corey from Philadelphia.
What's going on, Corey?
Hey, man, I love your show. I've been watching you. My mom died in 2016.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's all good. Yeah, man.
I respect to you, bro.
Thank you. Apostle, I am not coming at you disrespectful, so I would never do that. You are not because you're an elder, but the person you always call in, you are respectful of the house of consciousness, and I'm grateful. But my question to you is, within the, let me see, is about John 9, chapter 19, 39, about Nicodemus resurrecting Jesus Christ, about Jesus Christ's resurrection. My question always has been is, why did Jesus or Yahshua, I'm sorry to mispronounce it, Yahshua have misdirected people from saying that he was born again when he really wasn't, when Mary, the second Mary, which was a prostitute, she didn't recognize him and she thought he was a gardener. So my question is, I'm sorry, say it again.
I'm not following you. What are you talking about at the grave? When she thought he was a gardener? She was talking to Christ and didn't know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. According to the Bible, he was in his resurrected body, which was a perfected body. That's what I'm saying. It was not a normal body. Understand, the disciples were in the room. The doors were shut, and they were in fear of their lives. In the midst of them, Yahushua appeared. He did not open the door and walk through it, but he appeared in the room. The body that he had was what we would call in the Bible a celestial body. There are two types of bodies. There's a terrestrial body that we have on earth, and there's a celestial body that we're going to have after this life.
Y'all see this?
So he was in his glorified body. The same thing happened on the Mount of Transfiguration when he changed and his head turned white as snow. And before their eyes, he became so bright that they had to turn from him. It's the same thing. And there, Moses and Elijah, two people, testified in scripture that did not die. Did not die.
What the fuck is this
one
about?
One was buried by angels, and the other one left this planet in a firing chariot. Now, you can call that chariot what you want to call it. I got an idea what it was. I won't speak to that today.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, brother.
And all right. Cash, where can I go to donate to you? Is it Cash App or?
Yes, it's Cash App. You can look inside my the chat room and you'll see the Cash App link in there.
Yes, the moderator put it up. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Peace.
Okay.
Man, I ain't got one brother out there that know how to call up, man.
Hey, Apostle, man, this is your show. You doing good. You know, I love you, Apostle. I gotta come strong at you. I gotta come strong at you because I know you're a tough dude, man. And
Sarnetta is bullshit. Hold on, man. Sarnetta be bullshit with people, man.
Man, you know, you gotta hype up. You gotta hype up your guests, man.
Come on, man. That man asked about why Mary Magdalene did not recognize Jesus. She thought he was the gardener. The man's response to that was, it was his celestial body. So his celestial body looked just like the fucking gardener. That's the perfected form. That's the Super Saiyan Jesus, the gardener Jesus.
Yeah, you know the gardener be out there gardening, lifting heavy, gardening tools or whatever,
Man,
basically, Mary Magdalene thought Jesus had hoes. That's what that means, because a gardener carries hoes.
Exactly.
But Mary,
you on point
too.
Right.
So you see how that works?
Oh, this nigga got hoes. That ain't Jesus.
Y'all stupid, man.
But it was Jesus. He had hoes. Okay, let me go, because this nigga Sarnetta is bugging.
First of all, y'all skipping over the fact that Jesus' tomb is like CarMax. You can do a trade-in, goddamn. You can go ahead and come in with an old body and leave with a new body. Wait, you can do that.
We have no way. Okay, oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Bro, this is bad, man. This is bad. Let me keep playing though.
You do, man.
But you know what? You do be changing up the scriptures. You know,
I
and
never
you
changed.
violating a lot of stuff, brother. You violate.
I don't violate nothing. Only thing I told that brother in the world was not in there. And that's the only thing I disagreed with him with. So other than that, what Christ said about the mustard seed, I have no problems with. None.
Okay.
And you do that too, man. You be ad-libbing to the scriptures at the same time accusing people doing it. And you be doing it right at that moment.
Well, I just be paraphrasing it. I be paraphrasing it.
Oh, that's what you be doing?
Yeah.
It's crazy. You be paraphrasing. Okay, bro. I love you. I got nothing but respect.
What is going
All
on?
right.
What about you?
All right, I got the sister calling in again. Peace to you, Miss Woods. What's up?
Hi, I'm sorry I got cut off. My phone had died. Okay, yeah. Thank you for that answer, Apostle.
Thank you.
I had another question. How come you don't go according to like the dates? Like every time when people are telling you about, you know, the timelines and the dates and everything, you don't recognize or respect science of today. You know.
Honestly, you want my honest opinion?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think science is full of shit.
Oh my God, bro. God damn.
I think science is trickery.
There you have it, family. There you have it, bro. Oh man.
I say, and look, I'm saying this, my sister.
Bro, wait a minute. Hold on. Now, y'all know I often say that, I'm gonna stop this screen. Y'all know I often say that theism can become the worship of your own ignorance, right? You end up worshiping the fact that you don't know something. And my man just did that. My man said, fuck all the body of information that we got. That's all bullshit. Everything that we know works is all bullshit. I want to worship this God that lets me not know. Right? That I don't know what, again, I said, if you guys go back and read the book of Job, I want to say it's chapter 37 to 38, where his friend comes to him and asks him, you know, before you give up on God, Job, where does rain come from? Where does snow come from? How do the waves move? And Job basically said, "You right, man. I don't know where the waves come from, where the snow come from, where the rain. I'm gonna keep believing in God," which is proof positive that had Job had any scientific knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Like if Job had just known the precipitation cycle, he could have escaped evil as Yahweh right there. But he didn't know. And so he chose to stay in that cycle because he didn't know. My man says science is bullshit.
This is the thing, though, right? And this is the conversation that me and you have tiptoed around, Sebastian, and Morpheus. Let me ask you: what percentage of the population does not make it through evolution?
99%.
So
about 99%.
The majority of the people is evolution only biological, or could it be social evolution, the other thing, or is like intelligence a way to evolve? Like I want to get a little bit more, because I'm not really, I don't know all the answers on all this stuff, right? But I do know that we evolve, and I do know that when we evolve, we think differently about our surroundings because we're gaining more information and we have adapted to our surroundings, right?
Yes. And
what I'm saying, and this is what I believe. I believe that there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be not quite as intelligent going forward in this process of evolution that we're going through. And I think that what is it, Rocky?
My bad. Go ahead. My bad.
Now you good. This is just me being non-biased, looking at it from the outside, going in. It's gonna be a lot more people that are gonna be ignorant than there will be people in the know. There are gonna be a lot more people that reject science than people who are subscribed to science. That's just me looking at evolution, removing myself and removing my emotions and desires for everybody to be intelligent, and saying that everybody's not going to evolve to become more and more scientifically literate. So as we get more intelligent as a species, it's going to pyramid. The effect's going to be a pyramid. It's going to get lesser and lesser amount of people who are going to be able to adapt to this more intellectual society. And I think that sometimes we try to force those at the bottom of the pyramid to climb with us and ascend to the top with us. And from my experience, life and biology, genetics, evolution doesn't say that.
I would
You know
agree
what
with
I
that
think?
wholeheartedly. Go ahead.
Let me say, you know what I think? That video that you showed is you're looking at the trajectory of the future where they're trying to harmonize, right? They're trying to get the best of both worlds. That video that you showed earlier, brother, not the one with Apostle,
The natural theology.
the natural theology is where it's going, because what they're trying to do is make them both coexist.
Exactly, because they understand that the stuff that they're doing is going to hold them back from progressing. And they're saying, I feel like they're trying to push the reset button on religion and saying, okay, let's acquiesce to the atheist point on these avenues, and what we're going to do is build our theology on the potential future gaps, because the gaps that we already have, we're closing them. We're closing these gaps. We know about the Big Bang down to how much is it? 0.003?
A billionth of a billionth of a billionth of a second.
Yes, and so
That's
they're building their theology, and they're resting it on that billionth of a billionth of a billionth of a second.
Yeah. Let me give you an example. Everybody on the platform right here, right now, right? Mm-hmm. Do you still hold, even though you've grown, you evolved, and you become conscious, as they call it? Do you still hold any crumbles of, say, like superstitions? Some people won't put it now. Yo, man, don't sweep no fucking broom over my foot, yo. Right? You know what I'm saying? Don't put a hat on the on the bed, or you know.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna steal your broom when you sweep my foot. I'm definitely gonna do that.
Right.
What you gonna do?
Even though right. So even though you are where you are today, right now, as far as consciousness, you still hold subconsciously some of those superstitions and some of those fucking, things that we grew up on. All of us have, at some point or another. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and the kicker is, I know it does nothing. It's just at this point in my life, I'm 41. Like it's a reaction, but before I even think about it, it's already done. And I'm like, why I do that? You know what I'm saying?
And that's exactly my point. So what's going to happen is, just like that video, these people are going to try to coexist and still hold on, right? Hold on, or find some type of way to hold on to the gap, the God. Even though we can explain this, we can explain this, we can explain that, and though everything points to this, they're still going to do what we do with our superstitions or things that we grew up on. That's just a fact of the matter. As far as evolution, I mean, that's my humble opinion. So I get it. You know what I mean?
Well, evolution is not an even, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like a start stop, right? It's not like something starts.
It's not linear.
It's gradient. Like, I just laughed at him for spitting on the broom, but that's because I didn't grow up spitting on brooms. But I do say bless you if somebody sneezes.
Right.
That's a habit of mine, right? Somebody sneezes, I just say bless you.
Right. That's my point.
Hey, when I'm driving, you gotta put that X across the window of a cat cross your path while you're driving. You gotta X that bitch out, boy.
You really grew up in the hoodoo doo-doo, didn't it?
Yeah. You might not split a pole. If you and your boy walking down the street and somebody split a pole, you're like, whoa, hold up for a second, dog.
Yeah. Oh, that's spooky as fuck.
That's spooky as hell. But when I was a kid, I did used to. Yeah, you couldn't split the pole. That was out the way. But yeah, you're right. So a lot of those things die hard. You get what I'm saying. But there's a difference between having a cultural habit and then pushing a falsehood. That's different. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one thing to say, "Oh, I spit on the broom out of habit," which I mean, I never even heard of spitting on the broom, but or say I bless you out of habit or whatever, or Then it's another thing to teach a new generation that if you don't spit on the broom, you're gonna get bad luck. If you do put a hat on the bed, if you do put your purse on the floor or whatever the hell, right?
You're gonna get broke.
Just cultural habits.
Can't have no broke holes around me, but yeah, pick that purse up, baby. Put that thing on the table.
And that has nothing to do with anything, right? And we know better than that. Like we know better than that. So I think over time a lot of those habits would die. I was gonna say to what Morpheus said earlier, that the church in and of itself is shrinking, right? It's shrinking. There are more. Rocky said this. How old are you, Rocky? You're in your 20s, right?
Yeah, I'm 24.
Okay, yeah. So Rocky young. So he's gonna run into more atheists, agnostics than Marcus and I ran into, and we run into more of them than Mr. Morpheus ran into. Over time, you're watching the shrinking of the church, and I think the reason that you're starting to see people go, like my man with the natural theology or whatever, because at first we weren't even asking these type of questions. We was asking questions like, "Who made God?" Right. And now people are coming, we're being a better educated. So we're coming back with questions. I still have a challenge out there for any theist that can write God into the first law of thermodynamics. I still have that challenge. If anybody can solve the first law of thermodynamics for God, I will join your ministry and be your minister of music for free for the rest of my life. Right. But
Sir,
now
you are under the assumption that they know what the first law of thermodynamics is. You see, this brother just said that he don't even believe in it and it's all lies. Like they don't even know what that is. Like you asking a lot.
All right. Well, I mean, it's delta U, which is the change in internal heat, is equal to Q, which is heat added, minus W, which is work done on the object. So that is the first law of thermodynamics, which basically says that energy cannot be created or destroyed. That's basically what that teaches us. If anybody can show me how God created energy, in other words, solve the first law of thermodynamics for God, I will join your church and be your minister of music for free for the rest of your life. Whatever you need, right? But 20 years ago, nobody was bringing that. Well, I won't say nobody, but very few people were bringing that question. A pastor of a church in Knob Creek, Tennessee, never had to confront that. Now you got kids that's going off to college, they coming back home and they saying, "Well, Daddy, explain to me, how humans share more than 200 retroviruses with chimps if we don't have a common ancestor." Well, you can't just go find that in the Bible. You ain't got no scripture to just throw that off on. Right? You're gonna have to get out of the Bible and you're gonna have to go learn what they know to beat it. Right? And you can't do that. So people are leaving because they don't have that faith, that trust that this book knows everything. All of a sudden, it's some things out there that we're talking about that this book can't even touch on. Right? Explain to me how you put goats and stuff in front of striped sticks and somehow that made them into striped goats. That genetics don't work like that. Right? Well, now you talk about genetics. I'm just telling you what the Bible say. You get what I'm saying? So people are learning more, so the church is shrinking, and they trying their best to go out and play in this science game. But until you come up with something that is evident, something that is positively indicative of a God, you're gonna get hit by the science bus every time. The science is gonna tear your ass up every time because you're not going off somebody's word. You can do the math. Like I can literally go through the first law of thermodynamics and prove that is true every time. Right? We can look at Newtonian physics, Newtonian motion, and that works until you get to a third body or special relativity or things like that. Right? But those numbers work. Like we can predict where Neptune is going to be 1,000 years from now, and that's going to work. Right? The Bible ain't like that. And no theological text is like that.
Yeah. And you know what? And we was actually talking about it yesterday, and I kind of got ousted. And I think Morpheus was agreeing with me, but everybody else is like, "Hell no, you crazy." But I believe that the reason why we have such a high propensity for religion in the Black community is because it's easier. It's easier to simply believe that God did something rather than to learn how it actually gets done.
Hey, yo, brothers, real quick. I got to jump off. I got to finish this mastering job for this client, man. Damn. Yo, this is good. We got to do this again, man. But I got to finish this.
Where you located, Mr. Morpheus?
Say it again.
Where you located?
I'm in Georgia.
Are you in Atlanta?
Yeah, no, I'm in Covington.
Okay, right outside of Atlanta. Okay. I need to introduce you to somebody. I do a lot of work out of Georgia. I'm a songwriter. We get stuff mastered all the time. I'd like to introduce you to my CEO.
Oh, we got a politic then. Yeah,
for sure.
Without question.
Okay, bet. We'll link for sure.
Kyle.
Yeah.
You got Sebastian. Okay, hook us up. All right.
Bet.
All right, family. Peace.
For sure.
All right, thank you for coming on, bro.
For sure.
Yeah, man. I didn't know y'all never knew that because, like, Morphe is pretty hot with his engineering and production, man. He up there.
Oh, that's
and
dope.
you up there, but they don't know that you up there. But like, so people who don't know, Sebastian Cole is a Grammy Award-winning artist that we got live on the platform.
I'm a Grammy Award-winning songwriter.
That's an artist, man. You same thing. You got the same goddamn award, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it don't matter. You got the same little thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. A part of it is ease. I'll agree with that. A part of it is habit. And then I think another, like, if you notice, you hear a lot of people, like you talk about this all the time, like getting into STEM or STEAM studies, right? You know, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, right? Getting into those studies, and I missed one, architecture, right? Yeah. Getting into those studies. Those are the studies that teach you how things work, right? Yeah. Those studies teach you, okay, this is the way the world is put together. For the most part, when we go to school, we tend to work in humanities, right? So we focus on the people. Right, we want to get into law. We want to get into child care, education, social work. As most scientific as we get, and I didn't know this until recently, how non-scientific nurses can be. Is that not blowing y'all mind?
That should be illegal. That should be illegal. They should be barred from being nurses, yo. I mean,
I had to negotiate with my friend that's a nurse to take the vaccine, bro. Like, I'm like, bro, you should be negotiating with me.
My sister, she's in this program right now to be a nursing practitioner, and she just had a baby. Her son, my son, age 2 years old, and I'm talking about, you know, how my son got to get the shot and stuff like that, and I'm like, I can't wait till they drop the vaccine for the babies. My sister talking about not getting her kids vaccinated. She in the middle of going to school to work in a hospital, and she talking about not getting her kid vaccinated, yo. The stuff just blows my mind. It just blows my mind. They ain't no convincing her. No matter what.
And because she's in the medical field, she thinks, you know, I know because I'm in the medical. But clearly, like, y'all, you know, anyway, but those are more like humanities. And so we get off into, like, you know, how to help people be better. And, you know, then we get into we got the whole healing aspect from voodoo and whatnot. And we got the chakras and all that. And it, you know, we've lived in that world for so long that it's weird for us to even say, hey, let's figure out how this actually works. What up, Pure Black Consciousness? It's weird for us to try to figure out, okay, well, let's figure out how it actually works. No, I want to figure out how it works because I know this.
Well, let me ask y'all this then. Do y'all think it's a symptom of how integral our religious identity is in our community as opposed to, say, like the white community? I know you, like where I'm at in North Georgia, these folks, you know, they go hard for church. But you go a little bit more south, you got people that are Christians that don't go as hard in church or going to Bible study isn't as important. You know what I mean? It's not a centerpiece in their life, as opposed to in every black, my mom family from Kentucky, yo, every black family in that state, it's not a game. You're going to be at Bible study. You're going to be at church. And on top of that, you're going to go to the traveling service after the first service finished. So you got to sit through another 2.5 hours so your day over with. You hear me?
They shot.
I think that's a big thing. I don't know if y'all think that way as well.
You brought up a really good point right there, Rocky, and it's identity, right? Church is one of those cultural identifiers for a lot of us. If you know, and I say church, but not even church, just religion in general. If you notice, a lot of people, when they start to get into their religion, one of the main things you see happen to them, and no disrespect to anybody that's in the audience or anything like that or anywhere, is that they change their name, right? They start to identify with a culture, right? They become a part of a tradition. So you got the Yeremiahs and the Tazariaks and the Zifkanus, and right, you get all these people who are really looking for an identity, something that is more ancient. And I think that makes sense. Right, so they go find something that they think is African, and West African ideologies are still kind of shrouded in, you don't really know them. It's not something that's so easily accessible. So you run into a lot of people that go to these East African ideologies or Levant ideologies and try to make it a part of their identity. They become Bays and Ales and Nasuts and right.
Just
so
make it up. Yeah.
Right. Because they want to be a part of this ancient. I mean, it's better than being a Tillman like me, right? Like, or whatever, right? So, I think a part of it is looking for an identity, but I think that we could identify ourselves by whatever name, right? That, you can make up a whole new last name right now if you want to, but I think we need to be identifying ourselves by what we produce, because the thing about names is, like, especially in English, most English names, or even like European names in general, they are about what you build, right? They are about, like, if your last name is Shipman, your folk probably built ships, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One of my last names is Lazardi, and that's named after a tree in France. People that lived in houses made by a specific tree. That's where that last name come from. Yeah, you on point. And brown from the Irish people and their color, their hair color. Yep,
right. So people started to name themselves like a Tillman. These were tillers. I'm a Tillman. My family were tillers, right? Well, the English people. I'm
done with Miss Orange Moon. Hey, we about to kick you out of the chat, Miss Orange Moon. You gotta get out here.
Hey, the Gardner. Hey, what's crazy is my middle name is Gardner. In real life.
Hey, so you the resurrection of Jesus?
I'm the resurrected body, baby. I'm the resurrected body, baby.
Not Yeshua.
I'm out here. Resurrected.
Not Yeshua being Joseph.
Boy, no. So I think if we wanted to, I think we should find something that we can produce. I would love to run into a person whose last name was Physics. Oh, hey, Brent. I'd love to run into somebody whose last name was Mathematics, right? Or Thermodynamics or whatever, because you added to that work, right? That, you did something to help the earth move forward. When we get out of the superstition of it all and get more into the usefulness of it, I think we could be way more useful if we, take the time to, again, just learn how the world works. It doesn't have to be so spooky.
Yeah.
And atheism is not about, atheism is, well, I won't say all atheists, but to the atheists that I know, that I commune with, it's not so much as about tearing down your God as it is about learning how the place actually works.
I think that's an internet thing, though. I think that tearing down God thing, I think that's an internet thing. Yeah. I don't know too many atheists who make it their day job. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's more about just learning how this place actually works and getting and when you look at the way it actually works, it's such a big, beautiful story.
Yeah.
Like again, man, the story of evolution is gorgeous. I shared some videos with Kaya just the other day about the phylogeny project. Isn't that amazing, Kaya?
It's it's amazing on so many different levels because it brings you closer. I don't know, it's not even closer, like because you can't get no closer to what you already are, but it makes you understand why everything is the way it is, and you understand that I'm the diamond in the rough. I am very, very special because I came through a process that billions and billions of things couldn't even make it through. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it was like the whole thing just had me like, wow. And the fact that we know all this stuff, like we have the archaeology, we have the genetics, we have all this, like it's not refutable. You know what I'm saying?
We know that this is the case. Like I can
we
tell
know
you.
this.
I need a link to that. Somebody send me that.
Yeah, I said it to you. Oh, Kaya, you got it. Good. Yeah, but like when you look at the like just how phylogeny works and how it shows how we evolve from these simple one-celled organisms to this man in front of you, and step by step too, not just the 7 kingdom, phylum, order, whatever, but just all of the subclades and you figure out, oh well, this is why my fingernails look like this, or this, like you know what I'm saying, like, oh, this is why I have 5 fingers and 5 toes, or this is why my eyes are in front of my head and not on the side or not up top, right? Or this is why we give birth to live young versus an egg sac, right? Or an egg, right?
Man, shout out to Robert, bro. For real. Thank you, bro. Thank you. My bad, Sebastian. Go ahead, man.
Oh, no. Shout out to Robert. So yeah, when you get into stuff like that, when you really start to understand, okay, this was the purpose behind, or the reason behind that. It makes me feel very connected to every animal I see. Right, like every animal I see, I think to myself, how closely related are we? You know what I'm saying? Like, when I see squirrels and they climb up in trees and they grabbing their acorns with their hands, I see, oh, they got 5 fingers like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got that from a thing. So it gives me a whole new connection with the world. Just understanding, okay, this is how we got to be this. This is why monkeys behave so much like us, or this is why we behave so much like monkeys, 1 or 2. So understanding that is great. Understanding like nuclear fusion, understanding how like literally, and I say this this gonna sound like some spookism, but it is a fact that every single one of us is stardust. Like that's like you are literally the dust of stars. Like that's not something I'm saying to make you feel good. That's a fact. Like you are collected stardust. You are a star. And a lot of people that they think that life gets real bleak without a God. I don't think so. I think it's really amazing. Like you really are made out of stardust. Everything that you are is a mineral or an element that came from stars.
Yeah, and you know what? Let me be real. When I first started to I'm gonna say this word, transition out of being a believer, it was unsettling for a while. It was kind of like that first time that you hopped on I don't know if y'all ride motorcycles, but the first time you got on a motorcycle and decided to jump on the freeway, oh, I damn near pissed myself that first. Woo! Man, look, bro, it ain't. Whoa. If you don't ride motorcycle, you don't know the feeling in your gut that you're gonna have that first time you hop on the interstate going 100 miles an hour, bro. I'm talking about when your asshole when that shit is, man, your asshole get tight, man. Okay, thing is a game. If you don't ride motorcycle, then you don't know about that.
Your asshole get tight.
That motherfucker pucker up, boy. That motherfucker will pucker up on you if you ride.
Why is this a discussion?
But that's real shit, though, man.
Yeah. Go for it.
But it was a very, very uncomfortable moment where I was unsure of everything else. And I had to grow in my confidence, and I had to be very, very cautious and whatever. But like that's how I felt when I stepped away from believing in God had my back. Because when I hop on the interstate, don't nobody have my back but me. You know what I'm saying? Because all them cars out there, they don't even look and find you, right? And that's how life is. Nobody really has your back in life but you. Because I removed that God as having my back. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the most unsettling thing when I first came out of religion and the whole thing, right? But once I got more comfortable, because I did it with repetition, I started to take a look and observe. It made me more aware of my environment. It made me realize that this car is going about this miles an hour, and now I had to anticipate where this car was going, and now I had to use different processes, different thought processes to deal with my environment. You know what I'm saying? And that's what religion does. When you remove it, it makes you dependent on you for your own success. It puts all all your success, all the onus on you. You know what I'm saying? And peace to Brother Garfield, my Cancer Persian brother from the Middle East. Thank you for coming in.
Bro. Hey man, I want to talk to Garfield, man. Garfield invited that girl to be a part of the Dagger Squad from the other day. He invited that woman and he did not invite me to be a part of the Dagger Squad, and I am offended in him. I love Garfield in real life, but my feelings was hurt. Okay,
it was you talking about the debate he had with the girl.
Yeah, he invited her to be on. He invited her to join Dagger Squad. I'm like, damn, dog, how you invite her? How you invite Pseudo Sue to get in the Dagger Squad?
Pseudo Sue.
Did invite Pseudo Sue into the Dagger Squad? Yeah, hurt my feelings, man. Nah, shout out to Garfield, and make sure you pick up his book too. I still need to order a copy, but make sure you pick up Garfield's book, man. He really been going around teaching out every man, just laying niggas out. So shout out to Garfield for that.
I shouted you out at the beginning, Garfield. The book is on Amazon. I think it was #1 for 6 weeks in a row on Amazon as the best-selling book. That's a huge accomplishment, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like I don't know how y'all books are, because I ain't got none. But you know what I'm saying?
I know, right?
But this brother wrote a book, and it was a top bestseller book, man. So like, that's kudos, man. Salute to you, bro. And I actually own a copy. And it is written beautifully, bro. Like, I actually oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, he wants you to do his audio book, Sebastian.
I'd love to do it. I just want, and I will do it for free if I can be a member of the Dagger Squad. That's all I'm saying. You can't have Pseudo Sue in the. Come on, man.
Garfield, man, print this man out his membership card, man. Get it laminated.
Print me out a card, bro. That's all I'm saying, man. I just want to be a
t-shirt or something, man.
Bro.
Man, get his man his jersey, man.
Then I'm gonna read it for you, man. In the beginning, that's gonna be our voice. In the beginning. That's how I'm gonna read the whole thing. That's how I'm gonna do it. That's the voice you go here. It's gonna put people to sleep every time. But yeah, shout out to Garfield, man. But and back to you though, Kyle. I think it's really dope. I don't know if a lot of people really do a lot of talking about that transition, right? And you know, talking about the fact that, like for me, it wasn't that I woke up one morning and decided not to believe in God, or that I wanted to not believe in God. You know, it was definitely a transition of learning things, and I actually was trying to get closer to God. I went from being just a regular everyday Christian to following into Hebraic roots, to Black Israelite, to just keep asking questions to see, you know, what the best hypothesis was. And it just over time, it led me out there. And that was a scary thought to think, well, wait, maybe I've gone too far. Maybe I just, you know, maybe I need to go back. But I couldn't unknow what I knew. You know? Yeah. Garfield, what up, man?
Yeah. Hey, what up, King? First of all, let me apologize. I've always considered you to be Dagger Squad. There was no application needed. And I did, for the public's sake, I did withdraw that proposal to the sister before the show is over. I said, nah, sis, Nah, she inboxed me and said, hey, can I still be a part of Dagger Squad? I'm like, nah, sis, so I had to withdraw that. Nah, I had to withdraw that. Nah.
Hey, we're gonna go on strike, Garfield.
Yo, I think Rocky and all of y'all would have came out of that back. Everybody was like, Garfield, you on your own. We out. She would have caused the biggest divide ever. Yeah, but she coming on. But she coming on Friday though. I want her to come on every Friday because you know what? She have like 100 people that really came there to rock with her, and it was funny as hell. Not 100, but probably like 25, 30 people. And yeah, tune in Friday. It's gonna be funny. Y'all should come on, man. Y'all should come on and conversate because this I'm gonna do the Morpheus challenge. I'm just gonna ask her, is there what could make you look at it from a different point of view or a different angle? Oh, before I go, by the way, let me know what I need to do to make you what you call it, do the audiobook, because do I need to book studio time?
No,
what
I
do I need to do? Yeah,
you know what?
Let me know how much it costs and
everything.
everything. Yeah,
if you send me a copy of the book, I'll book the studio time.
Ah, look at his face. I could send you a PDF, or you need the physical.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, send me a PDF.
You know what? Let me send you the physical book because that's gonna give you a feel while you're reading it. You know what I'm saying? You won't get in the spirit. You know, the Holy Spirit gonna hit you while you're reading it. You know what I'm saying?
Look at Rocky. I can do that. Yeah,
Rocky's like Garfield losing his mind. Rocky's like Garfield gonna lose his mind. Look at Rocky. Rocky's like Garfield lost his mind.
I love that.
Hey, let me tell you
what happened.
Hey, let me tell you something, man. I gotta tell this story every time I see Kyle. I gotta tell this story in front of his friends that know him real good. Kyle invited me to a show, Rocky, right? With his Hebrew Israelite sister, right?
I'll kick you off, Garfield. You gotta go.
You know you're not kicking me off. I'll go live and tell the same story right now and just cut the show off as I'm done. So he invited me on the show. And I'm like, yo, he getting into the Persian thing a little bit, but he ain't really deep into it. So he invited me on the show, and I'm hearing him talk, and I'm like, yo, this dude is getting out of this stuff. He's really there. All of a sudden, the sister, they had a vote on the panel. Do you think this Bible story is true? Kyle is like, yes. He was like a zombie, yo, yes. I was like,
how many years was
yo, I don't care if it's 100 years. I gotta tell this that shit was funny. Then my man became the Persian specialist, and I'm like, oh man, at least he got out of it, man. I swear, I was so happy for him, man. I felt like that was my son that came out of hell or something, man. I'm telling you.
He put that
Kyle was just Rocky. I said it for Rocky too. Y'all was just way too intelligent, you know, to be. But we all grew up in it, man. So when people tease me and say, "Yo, you wanted to be a pastor?" Hell yeah, but I wanted to be the pastor for the right reason, to make money. That's why I wanted to be a pastor. I came to this country to make money. That's what I wanted to do. Make money, man. Make money. So I always needed to say I'm saving lives. More people join, the more money you get. That's how it is. You know what I'm saying?
I still might start a church.
When I think to piggyback off of y'all stories of leaving, you know what? I went through an identity crisis, right? Because amongst my group of friends, people I used to call my brothers, I was kind of the oldest. We talking about by a year. You know, they're 23, 20, 19. You know, kids that was doing some street shit and changing our mind and trying to get right. So I was the first one to become a Hebrew. So as I was leaving, they looking at me like almost damn near crying, like I'm dropping a mantle. I'm like the OG. I'm like the elder Yahweh. You hear me? So listen. So please say the Yah. You hear me? So as I'm leaving, yo, the day I had that conversation with Kyle, me and my brother, we was on the way. It was been a Black History Month lecture. I told the story 10 times. And we going in because he taking Sabbath on random days. And I'm like, yo, I don't even know about the whole God thing in general right now. I'm telling him how I feel. He going off. So we get out. And I had a conversation with bro. And I didn't speak to Kyle first. I spoke to Ron. And then as I was leaving, I spoke to Kyle. I don't know if you noticed, when my brother walked up, he heard us talking. And when he heard you say that, bro was like, man, come on, man. We got to go, man. We in a rush, man.
Hey, Rocky, what was the conversation like with Ron when you told him that you didn't really want to rock with that no more? What was that like, though? You want to say that for the special Dagger Squad interview, or you want to say it now?
I mean, say it now one time. Repeat it, Dagger Squad.
Girl, you being messy.
I didn't have a conversation like that with him. I was gonna say I get overwhelmed sometimes because my attention span is short. You feel me? So like, it's easier for me to listen to people that are closer to the point. And Devon a good brother, but he kind of long-winded. So whenever I had conversations like
yo, I'm clipping that. I'm clipping that and put on my channel. Just that part. You know, he kind of long with it. I gotta do a remix to that.
Terrible, yo. I'm being dead serious. So serious. Sebastian was talking. I done had 15 different conversations. I done talked to my mom and my son. You feel me? My attention span's terrible, yo. So after a certain time, I'm like, I heard you say a paragraph and it's over with now. You feel me? So.
Damn. That Tide money gone, man. That's all I care about. That Tide money gone, man.
Hey,
I'm gonna start collecting
it up another way, man. You got a book out. I need to put a book out. That's what I'm finna do.
Oh man, I got 3 volumes to put out, man. And then part 2 is gonna be a killer because I got the Deuteronomy 28 and the transatlantic slave trade. So it's gonna be that's going.
Oh, you going at them?
Whew. And that's
why
gonna
you
be
picking on the Hebrews like that.
I'm making a movie too. Making a movie to go with that. It's gonna be a DVD.
Garfield, can I ask what angle with the Deuteronomy
28? Let me show you. Yeah. I won't have to tell you. I'll show you right now.
Okay.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually literally explain why the transatlantic slave trade happened. And if you don't know why it happened, you can't say that Deuteronomy 28 is the reason why it happened. Because then we got to go into the Portuguese, we got to go into the church, we got to go to the Catholic Church, we got to go to the Spanish, and and the British and everybody that got involved. We got to understand that although Adahu the Moor is the one that say he'd flood the shores with the Africans and all that stuff, we got to talk about that. They took them first to the Atlantic Islands. That's the key. And what did they take them there for? They take them to like the Canary Islands and so forth to make sugar. Sugar is the major reason why we here in the West right now, because that was making a lot of money. So I break down the money they was making, and then the Indians in Brazil couldn't hold on to the weather. They couldn't hold the New World diseases. They couldn't survive. So they brought the superhuman, man. They brought us because we did everything. We could on the real, we survived everything, bro. Every disease that they had that killed off the Indians, it was like it didn't even affect the Africans. So that was one of the main reasons why the transatlantic slave trade happened, because Brazil became the place where they could make sugar the most. So the Portuguese, who is really crypto Jews or the hidden Jews or new Christians, they the ones that really took us there, worked out the deal with the Luso Africans and the kings, and got the deals going. And then we have the records of the Jews in places in Africa having their synagogues in their homes and worshiping following Orthodox Judaism, and how we got to the religion and all that. I mean, I break down the whole transatlantic slave trade. I break down the names of the groups, Casa de India. I break down the Spanish Main. I break down the Portuguese Africa, how they control. And by the way, too, the Portuguese was enslaving Japanese and Chinese the same time they was enslaving us. People don't know that. And then there's another slave trade going from the Indian Ocean slave trade, which is from East Africa to Asia during the same time. Are they a part of the prophecy too? You know what I'm saying? So, what about the 12 tribe chart? Are the people on the Atlantic Islands, are they a tribe chart? Why are they not? What about the blacks in Portugal? You know what I'm saying? So I'm going deep, but the most important thing that I deal with in Deuteronomy 28:68, when I show there's records of the Assyrians taking Judeans and Israelites back to Egypt on ships. So that reference, a matter of fact, one of the Judean kings went back to Egypt on ships. So that itself is the ultimate dagger that I'm actually getting. So that's putting out. So that's gonna be it. I'm gonna show every argument though, and why it don't apply to us in America, because it applied to back then, and how the verses actually tells us, because it tells us that a king would go into slavery with us. There's no king, no Israelite king right now. So you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So you get to look at it a lot. Yeah, man.
Man,
don't read that alone, Sebastian. I say you read the book. Don't read that little piece and say, yeah, I read it.
I'll read the whole thing. Let me read the whole thing.
Don't read that little part and say I read the whole book, yo.
Garfield, you know how many people I would convert back in the day with the Deuteronomy 28.
Oh, that's the one.
Man, that's real evil, yo. I'm trying
man.
to tell you.
Yo,
the Hebrew will tell on itself too when you understand the Hebrew of it.
Yeah.
But man, I used to, man, I would be at the shooting pool at the spot. Everybody surrounding the table. We get too deep into politics and religion, and all this will happen because the curses.
Man. Hey, Sebastian, you in Georgia too?
No, I'm in LA, man. I'm in LA.
Oh, you in LA? Oh, you in Hollywood? You Hollywood?
Yeah, I literally live in North Hollywood. Well, a little north of Hollywood. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, that's what's up. So yeah, Deuteronomy 28:68. Transatlantic slave trade. I'm going to go through the whole Black Hebrew Israelite claims. I'm going to refute like about 50 of them. And especially the ones about North America, and that they find that the 10 Commandments and all that stuff. The prophecies. I got like I document like all the prophets making false prophecies. That's deep. That's like knocking out the box, knocking out the park. So part one is good, but it ain't as good as part two. I tell you that. Definitely ain't better than part two. Part two is I'm here looking at some of the chapters right now. Deuteronomy 28. The Jews in West Africa is part 3. That's what I'm just going to deal with. The Jews in West Africa, everything, their color, how they look, what they said, everything. That's what I'm going to deal with part 3. But definitely, part 2, I'm going to show the synagogues where they built up, where they lived. In St. Thomas, where Divine is from. I'm going through all of that stuff, all of that good stuff. So part 2 is good.
Were you a Hebrew?
No,
were you
never was. Okay. I encountered them in 2012, and then I saw this polite video beating up Hebrew Perry, and I'm like, yo, I could do that. I could beat up Hebrew Perry.
Yeah, you a hard piece to work with, bro.
Yo, how many people you got watching? Because I'm about to tell a story that not many people need to hear. All right, Hebrew Perry actually ran up on Raw Bond one day with a piece and said, "Yo, I gotta shoot you, man. I gotta shoot you." And Raw Bond took the piece from him. And he straight up said to Raw Bond, "Yo, I gotta shoot you, man."
Yo. Is that
Wow.
You gotta delete this show, man. You gotta delete this show.
Hey, he gonna commit murder for Yahweh?
You gotta do it, man.
Yo, that dude is the worst, yo. That the dude say, "Yo, I gotta shoot you, man. I'm gonna shoot you in your foot. I'm gonna shoot you in your knee, man." Rob on say, "Yeah." Yo, these dudes is crazy, man. Them dudes is on some drugs that you never heard of. That's what they on.
I heard about your show with Jeremiah the other day. I didn't get a chance to see it, but I heard about it.
Oh man, I need to clip that. I call him an identity thief. Yeah.
I need to watch. Is it still out there? It's still out there?
Yeah, I didn't take it down. It's up.
I want to watch it, man. Like he is
the
definitely a special
you gotta treat him like that every time, because then he coming in talking shit about you, and he talking all this nonsense and in the chat, and then you know what? When he get on, you just cut him off. Don't let him speak. Interrupt him the whole time. Do him like just treat him. That's what you do. Let's beat him up the whole time. He said he wanted to debate. He said he wanted to debate me, right? But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna call him Friday morning and say, yeah, let's do it tonight. After I got my whole presentation ready, I'm gonna say, yeah, let's do it tonight, because he likes the hype.
Oh yeah. That's what he like. That's what he like.
Yep.
He loves a good hype, man. Yeah,
he's an identity thief. I said, prove that you're a Hebrew right now. Prove it. Well, Garfield, you all nope. Prove it. You're a damn identity crook. You're a crook. Identity crook. You're a thief. Identity thief. Stop stealing people's identity, you crook. Get out of here. Everybody's like, the real Garfield came back. The real Garfield came out. Oh man, y'all want to see that dirty side of Garfield?
Yeah, I'm glad you're back, man. Back in your right
mind. I had to go to the Roman Catholic Church today, man. I repent, man. I had to repent. I had to repent for my sins, man. Yo, you know I've never been. You know I've never been in a Roman Catholic church. I've never been in one, yo. I gotta go to one. I always hear these stories, yo. I always hear these stories. Hey, Rocky, let me ask you and Kyle this. When y'all was with Divine, did y'all do Passover with him? Did y'all celebrate Passover?
I did it with HCA. So he would mess with the HCA congregation, and he would come sometimes. So that's what I did.
So did y'all sit around? Did y'all sit around a table and cut up food and all that stuff?
Nah, it was a nice night. Not real talk though. It would be a night. It'd be nice. Everybody be dressed nice. It'd be laid out. You know what I mean? There'd be wine. There'd be food, salad, whatever.
Did y'all sit around a table and talk about the Exodus or anything like that?
We had so like typically it'll be like a presentation type of set. Like we'll have like the assembly early that day for like the Shabbat, whatever, or for Passover. After that, we'll have food and we'll have a place where, I mean, that's when you eat your bitter leaves and, you know what I'm saying, you exchange and, you know, fellowship with other brothers and sisters. But I mean, it wasn't necessarily sitting around a round table and like that, but it was the best setting that they could have. And the main reason is because like Divine was not over HCA. It was another brother that was over HCA, and Divine was kind of like the guest minister or the
presenter, right? Guest presenter, right?
Yeah, guest presenter. So it's not necessarily his congregation, so he didn't have full control. That's why he was able to speak so bipolarly, if that's even a word, because he would go into this congregation and say one thing, and then come on his Kingdom Harbinger and say something completely different, and then he'll come on a conversation with us and say something completely different. I'm like, bro, which one of these do you believe? And I realized that he don't believe none of them.
He's like a Jamaican green lizard. He does fit everywhere. He does change colors. You ever heard of Jamaican green lizard? They change color. Everything they touch, like the predator, it does change. So that's what he is. Everywhere he goes, he fits in.
Believes. I mean, from when I talk to him, I know he's intelligent. Yo, he seems too smart to. You know what I mean? Do y'all really think that he? You know what I mean?
No, I don't think I know. I've had this conversation with him before. Like, he doesn't believe that the Hebrews are, well, he doesn't believe that the people who wrote the Bible are black. He does not believe that is the story of the original Hebrews. And he also doesn't believe that West Africans indigenously are Hebrews. But he will go in front of a group of people and say those things because people don't know that his DNA is not West African.
Don't go there. Don't go there, man.
So no, that's no. Like you got a person.
But that's the white side, though. He tapped into the white side. That's why he money.
Exactly. But that's a problem.
But Rocky, you kind of look like Divine, you know that, right?
He does look like Divine. You do kind of look like
it. Hey, I ain't gonna.
Y'all could be cousins. Y'all could be cousins.
Hey, come on, y'all stop the cap.
Y'all look like you could be related. I was thinking that the whole time. I didn't want to say it, but you know.
I ain't gonna hold you. One time after the Shabbat, elder lady, she did call me up. She said, my name is Ronald too. She said Ron, so I'm thinking she calling me. She said Ron. I turned around. She said, "Oh."
Oh man.
She said, "Oh, I thought you were somebody else."
Oh man.
I'm hurt. It's my first week in there.
Guilty by association, man.
Wow, that's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. So wait. So I mean, I guess you might not want to go into that because it seems like he telling you not to. But you saying that his DNA is what now? What's it?
Nah, we don't need that. We don't need that information under here, man.
His DNA is R1B1A.
Oh man.
Oh, okay. So he really is Portuguese.
Yeah.
Yes.
He got some connections to the Jews. But everybody know that. That's not a secret, Garfield. Everybody know that.
Well, no, everybody in the congregation, but not the people who he teaches to online. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he teaching them E1 B1A stuff or what? Like what is he?
Yeah. That's why I went on his show and was having that discussion with him. That I had you play Garfield because I wanted the people that was outside of his congregation to know that he does not believe this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Yo, you know what? You streamed live a conversation I had with him that day where he was explaining to me the stuff about the difference in beliefs between the different kingdoms. He was talking about the Elephantine Papyrus. We have a conversation about that. I think if that's what you call it. And actually, looking back on it now, I see that reflected in that conversation. What you saying, kind of what he talked about. But at the time, I was like, what, 20? 21, I was so overwhelmed by what he was saying. I'm like, okay. But yeah, I get it.
Oh, you were starstruck, man?
It wasn't even that. It's just that I didn't have the I don't know what you say, the
information.
And then he was using words that I ain't never used before. You feel me? So it all
the elephant. I saw him on his live. He said one day. Yeah, he said one day that the Elephantine Papyri is not good enough to establish something, right? And I said, give me the link. He's like, oh, well, the show's about to be over. I'm like, huh? Give me the link. Give me the link. If you are celebrating Passover and it has nothing to do with the Exodus or Moses, that is the ultimate dagger. You don't need no more daggers than that. That's for one. Tell me that the JEPD theory is wrong for one. It has holes in it. Not saying it's completely wrong. And two, you all ain't had no Torah at the time. Period.
Right. So, but he doesn't. No, wait, Garfield. Since we talk about
wait. Let's walk through this for a second. I want y'all to understand that he does not believe in those eponymous answers. He don't believe Jacob existed. He don't believe Moses existed. He don't believe Abraham existed. He don't believe any of that stuff, Garfield. But he goes in front of Hebrews and he never says it. But he always shakes his head and pretends to be in agreement with these brothers. And then he will add on things to help them substantiate their points of view. But he don't believe
that point of view.
All right. Remember the last conversation we had when me, Jabari was arguing about Jesus and we was out in Atlanta, and he came on the scene, and I said to him, I was about to interview him. I said, so you still think you're a part of the tribe of God? He's like, stop, man. Come on, man. He's like, stop that. I'm like, the debate's over. I'm like, interview over. Because that's what he used to claim at one point. But I pointed it out when me and him sat on Sarnetta, and I said, yo, God is actually a God. The God of luck.
Yep.
Yeah. So
God of luck and fortune.
Saying? Divine do got the Brooklyn magic. Yes, he does. Yeah. Definitely does. Yes, he does. He definitely does.
That's correct. Okay. Well, this has been quite an eye-opening experience for me today.
As a Hebrew, in conversations with him, that's the first time I've ever spoken to people that were Hebrews. In the special designated spot where we go for Shabbat, for someone to ever speak about eponymous ancestors the way he did. To be honest, I was under the belief that Moses, Aaron, and all of them was my great uncles. You hear me? And then
you was a Hebrew.
You hear me? I had a new name and everything. But that was the first person I talked to that had some type of respect scholastically that told me, nah, those are what you call eponymous ancestors. I'm like, yo, this is wild.
So he put you on that.
But you know that I've been saying it for years, right? It's just like the Persian stuff. You know, the Persian stuff. I came to the community with it, right? And all of a sudden, I'm watching one of his lectures. I'm like, hold up, he's talking about Persia too. Where did he get that from? Yeah.
Well, that means at least he was listening. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be doing all this lecturing and ain't nobody listening.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
At least he was listening. Got to give it up for that. I wish more people would listen, because that's the problem, is that we don't really do a lot of listening, right? Because some of these arguments that I keep hearing over and over and over again have been debunked so many times over, but people just won't listen. They keep coming back with the same nonsense argument. And so you never get to grow, you know, even if that's your faith. I would prefer to grow in my faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to know better. I don't want to just know. I want to know better. But if you don't listen, you can't grow. You know, you still bringing up them same tired arguments, talk about Deuteronomy 28, you know? And like my man just said, that was the kicker right there. That Deuteronomy 28 that'll get you some converts. You preach that right.
Stuck. I'm trying to tell you, I was stuck.
You preach that Deuteronomy 28 right, you'll get you somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to refute that if you say it right. So yeah, I mean, at least he was listening, man. Shout out to him for that. I give him that.
Hey, but check out the chapter on No Exodus, No Religion. I do have a section where I actually use Mario Liverani's work, and he talked about the Exodus motive. So whenever you see the Bible going in and out, it actually had a different meaning, allegorically wise or metaphorically, referring to something like to Assyria or whatever. And they would write it like they're coming out of Egypt, but they really mean Assyria. So read that chapter over, because it's kind of that's to do with like knowing the language and all that stuff. But the Exodus motive, read that part again in chapter 2. It's pretty deep.
I definitely will read it.
And by the way, too, hold on.
Yeah, hey, put your number in the private chat, Sebastian or Garfield, one of y'all, however y'all want to exchange numbers,
Okay.
or I can do it myself personally, but I just want to, for y'all.
Yeah, I'll put it in private chat for him now.
Y'all want to work things out.
Hey, Mario Liverani also in his book gave a I don't know if I want to say this on the ear, man. You know what? I ain't gonna say it.
Nah, say it, man.
I don't want to get the Hebrews no ammunition, man. He actually comes up with a concept of where Abraham came from, and actually he traces it back to Egypt. You know, but I ain't giving no Hebrew. That ain't no Hebrew listening, so I ain't giving them that shit.
There's no Hebrew.
Yeah, they gonna find out their damn self.
Yeah,
man, help them out.
Hey, Brother Garfield, Sebastian put his number in the private chat, so grab it out of there. What I'm gonna do, I'm kind of gonna break down the show because we've been on here for a while, and I'm actually hungry as fuck, so I'm gonna go eat. You know, that'd be real.
Hold on. Let me get the number. Hold on before you cut it off. Hold on.
Now, y'all say y'all piece, man. If y'all got any final closing words, and I'm gonna also play a song by Sebastian, so y'all don't leave yet, man. Hold on for 5 minutes. I got another song from Brother Sebastian Cole off his new album. It's called Blurred Lines, man. That's my favorite. Now, actually, I took it back. This is my riding song right here. When I pull up on one, yeah, boy, I'm pulling up with this joint right here.
Got you.
Hey, y'all keep demonetizing me. I get it, y'all Motown niggas, but hey, but I'm gonna keep on playing this music until my channel get monetized. My channel ain't monetized right now, but once we start, I ain't playing no more of your music, buddy.
Hey, I understand, bro. I understand. No biggie.
Sebastian, I was the one that just called your phone.
Yeah, I saw you right there, bro.
I got that 470 number. That's me.
Got you, bro.
Hey, by the way, you could play this now, but 6 months later from now, this song gonna be popping. They're gonna strike your channel, just to let you know. So you could play it at your own risk. 6 months from now.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm gonna talk to y'all in a minute for sure.
All right, peace, man. Hey, thanks for everybody for joining. Don't leave yet till the song go out. Check out the Brother Sebastian song. Y'all can check him out on all the platforms. Sebastian Cole with a K. Also check out Brother Garfield book. Again, top selling book on Amazon for 6 weeks straight. If it's 7, I apologize, Brother Garfield, for not giving you your full credit.
3 weeks. Just 3 weeks. Just 3 weeks. I don't mind you doubling it up. It's all good. It's all good. Double it up all you want, bro.
Let me hype up my brother, man. So you say it was 3 months, for 3 months straight. This brother
3 weeks.
All right, we'll go with 3 weeks, man. Sheesh. All right, well, yeah, check out Garfield book, man. It's $35. The best $35 you're gonna spend. Check out Sebastian Cole's music on iTunes and all streaming sites. Best 99 cents you're gonna get for a song. And this is just a sample of one of his songs on his album right here, called Blurred Lines. So can y'all hear it?
Yeah, I could hear it.
It's good.
Night I did something I said I'd never do. Had drinks and said words that were incredible. Wrote lines on your heart that weren't legible. You told me you love me, but I'm impossible to read sometimes. Liquor make a nigga quick to say some shit that he don't mean sometimes. Quick to flip the script on this relationship. I know you can't read my mind. 2 a.m. and I've been on the way since 10:45. And I can hardly drive. Blurry lines, yeah. Fifth of liquor got a nigga speaking sober-minded. Blurry lines, yeah. I've been drinking my intentions with you for the night. Ain't clear. 100 proof got me on the 100 with you. And this blurry line. First call on the last call, you won't speed down, cause I need you. Fucked up on the last drink, I can't see straight from the reefer. You know me, I get drunk a bit, it be Bible verses, then politics. I can barely speak, but I'm talking shit. Words slurred, can't see sometimes. You be on the phone, dead sick, worried about me sometimes. Pray I'll make it home just fine. I'm outside with these blurry lines, yeah. Fifth of liquor got a nigga speaking sober-minded. Blurry lines, yeah. I've been drinking my intentions with you for the night. Ain't clear. 100 proof got me on the 100 with you. And these blurry lines, yo, I'm already gone. I can't see these streets, but I'm almost at home. While you're asleep, can you speak when I call on the phone? I've been thinking too deep, but you already know. Yo, I'm already gone. I can't see these streets, but I'm almost at home. While you're asleep, can you speak when I call on the phone? I've been thinking too deep, but you already know. Blurry lines, yeah. Fifth of liquor got a nigga speaking sober-minded. I've been drinking again. Blurry lines, yeah. I've been drinking my intentions with you for the night. Ain't clear. 100 proof got me on the 100 with you. And these blurry lines.
We can't hear you, Kyle. We can't hear you, bro. Still can't hear you, my dog. Can't hear you, bro. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. All right, y'all. I'm out.
Okay. I had the mute button on. Hey, thank y'all for coming on, man. Hey, this is Kyle. You know what I'm saying? We checking out, man. Thank you, Rocky, for joining the panel. Thanks to brother Sebastian Cole. Thanks for Garfield Reid for coming through, you know what I'm saying, hanging out with us over here. And thanks for everybody out in the chat for showing love. Man, I appreciate y'all. Much love, and we'll see y'all next time. I'm out.